but I feel like we have to show them a little bit about what you girls got. So did you bring something for me that we can, kind of close with here, or am I putting you on the spot too much?
We can do it live. We're gonna do it live. Yeah. So, okay.
Okay. I'm ready when you are.
Okay. What's the note? You just give her a note. 1, 2.
Who I need to be, coming from the heart.
Welcome back to MOMnation from the Heart. And now a word from our sponsor.
Moms are always on the move, and the City of Mesa understands getting where you need to go quickly and safely isn't just a priority, it's an expectation. That's why we are proactive with our transportation plans. Check out the 2020 Transportation Bond Program at mesaaz.gov/Mesa Moves to learn about Mesa's plans to grow our roadways and bike paths, improve congestion, and make commuting safer for everyone.
Let me back up. Hey, Mom Nation, we are back with another episode of From the Heart, where we share inspirational stories, useful information, and we discuss a variety of women-related topics. I'm Katie, the founder of MOMnation, and today, our co-host is not with us today because she had some other things that she had to do, but that is all right because we have 3 lovely ladies. Look at them, how beautiful they are. They look related, don't they? So we have 3 lovely ladies with us today, and I'm so excited to dive into today's conversation and chat with you guys a bit. But before we get started, I said we have a famous person on, right? We totally have a famous person on today, and it is Susan Goyette. She is right smack in the middle of these twins. Right? She is famous for us because she is the singer-songwriter extraordinaire that created our little From the Heart podcast jingle. So can you just give us a little bit of background on that song? I know we all have downloaded it. It plays in my playlist. It plays when I work out. It plays when I'm in the car. It's so catchy. Can you give us a little bit of background on that song?
Well, it's a song about women basically releasing themselves from a relationship, a long-term relationship that wasn't very healthy. And it's something that was very therapeutic to write and to produce and to sing. And I've gotten some feedback on that from people that I don't know that said, everybody can relate to this. Well, not everybody, but most women can relate to this. So I think I just hit the nail on the head with how I presented it. And it was great to work with my brother, Rich Goyette. He produced it. So it was awesome to put that out there. It's like what my nephew calls blood music.
What's blood music?
From the heart. It's from the heart, very heartfelt.
Yeah, and it absolutely is. And I don't remember where we were at the time or what we were doing, to be honest.
I do.
Do you? Okay, tell us the story of how it came to be.
Yes, we were in a Biz Now meeting, and there were just a couple of us that day. A couple people couldn't make it, and we were kind of bummed about that, but it was so inspirational by the time we got done with that meeting, because you had mentioned to the 2 of us, I'm looking for something for my podcast. I'm looking for music, a title, something. And I talked about my song Coming from the Heart. And you said, from the heart, from the heart. And that's how it came about. Yeah, it's great.
So cool. I mean, and it's just perfect. The clip that you sent is so perfect. Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, it's our podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Katie.
Oh, of course, of course. So you mentioned when you were telling us about the clip and about the song and how, it came to be, you mentioned your brother in there. So ladies, give us a little bit of a background. Who are you? Tell us the music part of things. Tell us the family part of things, all the things.
Someone else want to take this? Or do you want go ahead. Yeah. Well, we're 3 of 13 children. We were basically born in a musical family. Our maternal grandfather played the trumpet, and his whole family played instruments. And our paternal grandfather played the piano for silent movies in our hometown theater, the Albert Theater, which is still standing, by the way.
Yeah, I know that place.
Yeah, yeah. So that was interesting. And we also, my dad played piano, guitar, drums, horn,
harmonica, spoons.
He played
spoons.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything you give him, Katie. If you brought home an instrument, he would sit there and he'd figure out where the sound is, and then he'd come out with something and play something very nice. He was a true musician. In fact, in town, if someone was doing a gig, they would call him and say, "Hey, do you want to accompany me for this concert?" So he was called all the time, and he sang also. So when you merge that with our mom, your grandmother, she was a beautiful singer. In fact, if you want to know what mom sounds like, she sounds like Susan. So that's what mom sounded like. So we get it from the paternal side, the maternal side, the grandparents, the parents, and every one of us, 13 of us, all play something, an instrument, and we all sing.
So everybody has figured it out by now. I don't really look like these beautiful, lovely people, but I do belong to them. So they are my family members. That's my mama on the end, her twin sister on the other end, and my Aunt Susan in the middle, the famous person. So I know a bit of this story, and I obviously am a part of this family. So I know a lot of this, but I think that it's, as I got older, I realized not everybody's family does this. Like, it's not normal. It's not a normal thing for, first of all, for, somebody to have 12 aunts and uncles. We'll get into that. But then, the second part of it is, I grew up, mom was always singing, or Graham was always singing, and there was always music. There was music at our reunions, our holidays, all of that. I grew up like that. And once I started meeting other people and, going to other people's houses for their holidays and things like that, I'm like, where's the guitars? You don't know, you don't know, listen to the music or dreams. Like, what's wrong with you? Because these are all things that I grew up with. So take me back through that as you guys were growing up. I mean, you were born into that family. That was very, very normal to you. Give me some examples. Did you have the same sort of epiphany as you got older? Like, oh, this is not normal. Okay, not everybody does this.
Well, I have a little story to tell you. When I was in high school, actually middle school, and we joined the chorus, I was, our first day, I'll never forget it, and we were in chorus, and this lady that was standing next to me was singing, and I was like, cut it out. And she goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, cut it out, because she kept going off key. I never heard anyone sing off key before. So I thought she was just playing around, and I was taking it serious because I really wanted to be in this chorus. And so I thought that was quite funny.
And that's hilarious, because as a child, I remember we would fool around by doing that.
Yes.
And sing off key, and we'd kind of, mess around with each other by doing that. Oh, that's funny. So how did that resolve? Were you like a little embarrassed that you kind of were giving her some crap, or?
I was. Well, I went to the music teacher too, and I said, I can't sing next to her because she sounds funny. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. And he explained to me that not everyone was at my caliber, and that I needed to just, he moved my spot, which helped. But I never knew. I thought everybody could sing on key. I didn't know there was a thing that people were tone deaf or anything.
And I think that stems from the fact that, at least I remember when I was growing up, I would often see our older siblings in a circle singing harmony, beautiful harmony. So you learned that, and they did it a lot for us to really pick up on that. They would do Beatles songs, and there was like 4-part harmonies, and it's like, how can you go wrong with that? It was just amazing lesson for us.
Well, that's how we learned how to sing, really.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Was to copy our siblings, our older siblings who were singing harmonies. So, yeah.
Kara, you have anything that comes to mind?
Well, I want to say that I had the same experience you had when I would go to Christmas parties or whatever. I'd be like, where's the music?
Yeah.
I can't hear anything. It was odd. It was very, very strange. I want to add that when we would come home from school, one day I would come home and my dad your grandfather would be playing piano. Another day I walked in, I was floored the day I walked in, and he was playing drums. I'm like, he plays drums too, or you go.
You're like, who are you?
when you walk in the house, you'd have someone singing to a stereo in one room, someone playing the old Magnus organ in another room. And I don't know how my parents did it, but they were listening to three things at once coming from everywhere. And wow, they were really patient.
And then there was when they joined the marching band and they all had horns.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. So you had how many horns in your house?
Four,
at
I think
least,
about four,
Yeah.
plus the drums
And
and
the
the
drum-
guitars.
Yeah. So there was a lot of noise in the house, but it was good noise.
Yes.
Yeah, they definitely had patience, but they had to. I mean, they had 13 kids. Let's think about that. Like today's standards, that's just crazy talk, But so who can name all 13 really quick and the order that they are in?
Ready?
Okay.
Richard, Diane, Marilyn, Carolyn, Susan, Donald, Tina, David, Ronnie, Rogers, Louise, Danny, and Marie.
Who messed it up? I heard someone messed it up.
That's fun. I haven't done that in a while.
Yes.
Can't do it backwards.
Oh,
Not-
the other way? Because you
Yeah, I
went from the
can't do that.
youngest to the oldest, right? Just now?
We did.
Okay.
Carolyn mentioned that our mom and dad would often hear three different things going on in the house, drums, horns, guitar, whatever. But we also had the opportunity to hear my dad play the guitar with my mom singing.
Oh,
So that was really enjoyable. I remember that from a very young age.
yeah, that was special.
So we were surrounded all the time with music. Yeah.
Oh, it's so incredible. And again, I know the story and it still gives me chills just to reminisce and to talk about it. So tell me a little bit about your other brothers and sisters. Let's begin with you three. So what do you guys play? We know the famous person in the middle. We know what she does, but she can elaborate too, because maybe she plays drums and the flute and all these other sort of things like Grampy did. But give me what you guys do, kind of a little bit of background on what you've done maybe throughout your life, and then maybe a little bit of info on your brothers and sisters.
First.
That's a lot.
That's
It
How much time do we have?
All kinds.
So I'll go first. So I'm Marilyn, one of the twins, and I currently, some of you may know, I play with my husband in Montage Duo. So we are currently playing out. We love to play at private parties and small weddings, backyard parties, and some bars, and just many different musical venues. So we're currently doing that. In the past, well, of course, growing up, I was in chorus and all through school, marching band, anything having to do with music. We also had, I had the opportunity to be in a band with my older brother, Ronnie, who played keyboard, piano, drums. He plays everything. But he was a keyboard player and I was the lead singer. So I had, the band name was Level 10. And we were in that band for about, I think, 5 or 7 years. We also, Carolyn and I had the opportunity to work together in an all-female band. The name of that band was Rouge. So it was all females. Carolyn's a drummer. And I sang and I dabble in keyboards. I don't read music, but I just learn by ear whatever songs I need to play on keyboard, then I play it. And then Susan and I actually were in a trio. So Montage Duo, which we have currently, used to be Montage Trio
Gotcha.
with Susan. So, there was other things, but those are the main events and my favorite things that I've done.
So you play together a lot, or have in the past?
We have.
In the past, at certain different years. So we weren't all together all the time, but yeah.
Different times, different stages,
Except
different
one night,
towns.
and that night we will bring up the one and only night that we all played together.
Ooh, yeah, we got to talk about that.
Go ahead, Susan.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, that night that Marilyn's referring to is, it started out, and I'll try to make this short. It started out as a gig for me at St. Karen's Center for the Arts in our hometown, Berlin, New Hampshire. And so I wanted to add some voices. So I called upon a few family members. And as I did that and they agreed, we all said, well, it would be great to have everybody, or we just kept slowly adding the family members, and until we had all 13 of them on one stage for one night only. And it was a smash.
It was great.
It was great for all of us to perform on one stage in our hometown.
And I have a photo of that. So I'll show that here when I get to the photos. But tell us the significant, well, how special that was. I mean, we all know what happened afterwards. So, well, we know, but they don't know. So tell the audience why that was such a special night and why that will forever remain burned in our memories.
Well, for one, we've never all been on the stage together, and we're all at various stages with, being comfortable on the stage. Some have not been on the stage for a very long time. So it was a lot of emotional support. It really got us together. Not that we weren't together as a family already, but it really got us together more so with the emotional support, and the love in that room was amazing. If you want to add to
It really
that.
was.
Yeah.
Well, the most important thing was our oldest brother, Danny, was terminally ill. And when Susan was putting this all together, he wanted in. And we believe that it prolonged his life actually,
Mhm.
to wait for the show and to perform in the show. That was the biggest,
I know it's
from the
huge.
heart.
It's so huge, but I think, that is really, yes, this episode is about, discovering more about this incredible family that came from the North Woods, the very North Woods, and, grew up musical and did all of these phenomenal things. I mean, all 13 of you are phenomenal musicians. I know we have a couple of other stories coming up too. But I feel like the purpose and really the main point that we're getting across here is how music, it's like from the heart, right? It's like how music
Definitely.
really brings people together, how it can be very therapeutic. I've heard that that's not an uncommon thing to hear, right? That those that might be toward the end of their days and kind of going toward that, it helps them. I do totally believe that it prolongs their want to remain there. You know what I'm trying to say? Does that,
Absolutely.
am I hitting it?
Absolutely. You are hitting it. In fact, I experienced firsthand when my mother was terminally ill. She was in the hospital. I went to visit her, and I knew what I was going to do. And I went there because I knew music was going to make her happy. So I was prepared to sing her a song. When I got there, she's lying in her bed. She was pale. You could see her lunch was on the tray, not untouched. And she was just lying there, really, really, I wouldn't say depressed, but really bummed and just lifeless. So I came in, I'm like, "Hi, Mom." And I started singing to her. Katie, she sat up. I could see the cheeks turn, rosy. She's smiling and, kind of dancing in the bed, sitting up. And it just changed her whole being and willingness to want to get up and eat. She started eating her lunch, and it was just like old times. We were sitting in the living room and everybody's singing.
Mhm.
It was amazing to see that. Yeah.
And probably brought her back to that, and and brought her back to that feeling. Mom, you have experienced this working in playing some of your music in nursing homes.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you've probably seen the same thing.
Yes, absolutely. And as you know, my background is in nursing. And when I was on the floor as a nurse, I'd sing to my patients. And it would really make their day. And instead of going in and just, giving them pills or whatever, I sang to them, whatever I had to do with them. Those who enjoyed it, and most did, I would sing them a song, one of their favorites if I could. And that just made the world, the difference for them for that day. And end of life care, I was also a hospice nurse, and I would sing to my patients in their last minutes of life. So yes, and currently Montage Duo plays in the assisted living facilities here around Arizona and long-term care facilities. And that, again, they maybe see entertainment once a week, and through the pandemic that we just had, they really missed that. And but what a difference. It really puts another step in their step.
Step in their step.
Skipping their steps.
Skipping their step, yeah.
Well, it's truly a universal language, right? So we don't all have to believe the same things. We don't all have to speak the same language even, but we can all understand, and we can all sort of absorb that feeling that music provides. That's truly how I feel about it. And I feel like I was taught that growing up, not so much like mom was like, well, this is music, you know what I mean? But because of what we were able to participate in, because every time the family was together, that's what happened. And I mean, you know, I remember being a small child being able to participate in that, which is really cool, because how many things can people of all ages, of all walks of life, get together and participate with each other, right?
Exactly.
Yes. Mhm. We had
Such-
our own chorus.
You
Yes, we
really
actually
did.
We did. We had an alto section, a soprano section. Pretty good. Bass. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So, so Aren't Care. So your background, what have you done? I know you were in Rouge. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if I ever told you this, but obviously I remember Level 10. So Level 10, that band that you were in, Mom, super cool band, and is huge in my history. Because first of all, I was probably a little bit cooler in high school because my mom played our proms and all of that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
That's right. That's
You know what I mean?
right.
Like I can remember this one prom. It was the best prom ever. And I'm there, and you know, we talk, we communicate with the look, you know. So she gives me the look, and I knew the look meant come up to stage. I'm gonna hand you a microphone. So I come up to stage, she hands me the microphone. And so they were doing Enter Sandman by Metallica.
Oh,
And so if you remember the drummer, he was male, he used to sing that, but I did the little kid part. And I don't even remember when I started doing that. But in the middle of my prom, I'm doing the little kid part of Enter Sandman.
Oh, that is so
that's
awesome.
adorable.
It was so cool. And that was like one of the coolest moments of my life, because it was a very new song. I mean, this is lots and lots of years ago. So, you know, we're going back 20 plus years here. It's classic rock now, but back then it was not. And so it was like, you know, this is the music that's on the radio, and I get to do this in the crowd with all my friends. And anyway, Mom was so cool. So I do remember Level 10, and then Rouge I sang with too a little bit when I would come out and see you guys. So that was cool.
I have to say that that's a really cool story. And I may have heard it many, many years ago, but had forgotten about it. But I bet you, Katie, you may be the only person that's ever done that at a prom, because I've never heard of that before. Maybe.
Yeah.
What a great opportunity.
Really?
Oh, it was. Yeah. It totally boosted my popularity, I think. I'm pretty sure.
That's
Anyway.
awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned Rouge, Kate, and so Carolyn was the drummer in Rouge.
Mhm.
And did you want to talk about that band?
Well,
a little bit?
I was going to say, well, it all started back in the 70s. And my brother Don had a room that he had painted completely black, including the window.
Oh,
Why? I do not know. But anyway, it was the black room. That's what we referred to. So one day I came home and he was jamming on the drums, and I'm listening out the door, and I'm peeking in the door, and I'm listening and listening. And right then and there, I wanted to be a drummer, especially when I heard Jimi Hendrix.
yes.
I was hooked. So that's what I played. So when I was 16, I was approached to be in a band. In fact, it was the brother of the drummer you're talking about. And so he wanted me to be the lead singer. And I'm like, oh, well, geez, I wanted to play drums, but he was the drummer. Anyway, one night he said, why don't you just sit back and I'll teach you something? And I just started playing. And he looked and he said, well, you can drum. And ever since then, that's what I was going to do. I was no longer a lead singer. I was now a drummer. And that's how I started. I played with Uncle Ronnie. Oh, this is a story. So when I was younger, I did not really care for, they called it country and Western.
Yep.
Now they call it country rock, but it was country and Western back then. And he said, hey, do you want to join this? Yeah, so I don't think so. Oh, come on. We really need a drummer. Come on, you got to fill in for Billy. Okay, fine. Calls me on a Monday and he says, okay, we have rehearsal on Tuesday and we have a gig on Friday. What? You know, I don't even know the songs. So we had a couple of practices, and thank God I only had to do a half a set because Billy did the other half a set. So then I was like, oh, country's not so bad. So then I played in a band, a country band with Uncle Ronnie, and it went from there, a couple more country bands, and then some really rock bands that would rock your world. It was like crazy rock. And from there, I got into the dance band with Rouge and enjoyed all of them. Rock, country, whatever it is. I don't know about what do you call that? Grunge?
Oh,
I don't
90s
know about
grunge.
that. Yeah, but anything else I will do. So I've been in many, but have not, I got out of it for 20 years,
Mhm.
21 years. Susan called me and said, we have to do this. And that's, again, going back to the family concert. Once in a lifetime thing, I had to do it. So I got back on the drums and learned a song that they wanted me to do and got my pipes back. And here I am back on board.
Happy as ever. She's a natural.
Oh, I bet she's a Goyette. She's got it in her blood. So did you feel like it was like riding a bike? You just kind of snapped right back into it?
Pretty much, except you lose the little tricks. I used to spin the sticks and turn my, do all the tricks, and I'd have to practice a little more to get back into that shape. But for the most part, yeah, riding a bike, just with a little more practice these days as you get older,
Yeah. And do you feel like when you stepped away, because I had a step away period for myself, so I totally understand. Do you feel like when you stepped away from music and then got back into it, did it affect you? Like, let's talk about our heart here and our feelings. Like, were you like, oh my gosh, I was missing this for so long, I didn't realize how much I missed it? Or, what kind of experiences did you have bringing it back in?
That's exactly what I said.
Mm.
I said, why did I stop?
Mm.
Oh my God, this is awesome. I want to do this again. Why did I let so much time pass? So luckily, my sister Susan brought me back into it. Your mom brought me back into it, and singing with them is just heaven. It's heaven. Hopefully, maybe we have a little time to do a little snippet later.
Yes.
Maybe just a little snippet.
Yes, I would love to. I mean, it's not only therapeutic, I think, for others, but it's therapeutic for us too, as the performer, right? It's really, I mean, when you're meant to do something, you thrive when you're doing it.
Absolutely.
And
True.
It's pretty obvious you guys were meant to do it. Pretty obvious. Let's talk about being twins in the same band. Do we have any funny stories about that? Did you guys
Yes, we do.
trade on your band members
it's
and
exciting.
like switch positions or something?
We do have many stories, but she's got something I can tell.
Okay,
I'll
so
let
I'm
her-
dying.
Yeah.
So this was in level 10, okay? And she said, Carolyn, you want to play a trick on the band? I said, they're gonna know. We can't fool the band. Yeah, let's try it. We'll wear the same thing. And I think we have a picture. I'm not sure if we have that picture of that night.
We do.
Of that same
I
night.
sent-
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Oh, we have it.
I think we do.
Nice.
So
We find it.
she had a cordless mic and she said, go in the bathroom. Okay. So I take the mic, I'm in the bathroom and she's rocking it out on stage. And then I knew just when to come out, and she went into the audience to do her thing. Is that the one right there?
That is the
that's
one.
the one.
That's
This
the
is the
night. So can I interject just for a moment?
Sure.
So the only person in the band was my good friend Champ, who was running the spotlight. So I had to tell him, I said, I'm going to be at the keyboard and you're going to hear singing, but I'm not going to be singing. My twin sister came from the outside. She's in the bathroom, and I want you to put the spotlight on her when she comes in. So that's the picture where she just got on the stage from coming in from the bathroom. So people there, it was packed, and the whole the audience was around the band dancing, and I wasn't singing, and they were all looking at me like, where's the singing coming from? She's not singing. She's playing piano, but she's not singing. And then all of a sudden the spotlight shows Carolyn coming out from the bathroom onto the stage. And that's when she just got on the stage and she was still singing.
The best part of that, Kate, was, okay, the music was loud. There was a lot of people there. There was a lot of noise.
Yeah.
And when we were on stage and I came out, we heard, oh, over all that music. And I was like, wow, this was a really good idea because it worked. It was pretty awesome. That was a great
I
time.
love it. And I mean, so let's look at this picture really quick. I know for those of you who are listening, you don't have this opportunity. Go to our YouTube. Our handle is at MOMnation USA, and you'll be able to find this video, because we always do a video with our podcast. You'll be able to see this photo. But I mean, I mean, last week I just called you mom, Aunt Care. So I would have a hard time. And I mean, I belong to you. And I think I would have had a hard time that night too, because you look pretty close.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, Katie, was the band did not know. So where you see me there up front to the left, or to my right was the bass player. I had forgotten one or two songs and I was looking for the words. And he looks at me and he's like, you know the words?
Yeah.
He thought,
Oh, your mom?
yes, it was hilarious. And there was nothing I could do because I couldn't tell him right. And plus I was singing at the same time, but the best time ever.
Oh, I love it so much. Oh, big shout out to Champ, our friend. May he rest in
Oh,
peace.
yeah.
Best light man ever. We love you,
Best-
Champ.
That's
So cool. So we've kind of run through it. So obviously we had the big concert, which I see that there's a picture of that here. So I'll pop that up. And, we talked about a lot of your brothers and sisters, more brothers, not so much sisters, but pretty much everyone. I mean, everyone's been in, some sort of musical production at one time or another throughout your entire life, right? So having gigs and, schlepping around equipment and being on stage, and that was like all normal stuff to you guys growing up.
norm. It was the norm.
It still is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it still very much is. So tell me about, let's dial it back a little bit again, and tell me about the beginnings. Now, I know, because I belong to you, I know that, there wasn't an extraordinary amount of wealth in your family. And so there was a bit of struggle there. Tell me how music impacted that struggle. You guys have any stories or anything specific that you can pull out of that for me?
Well, we were so busy trying to, because you had to be in order to sing with the older brothers and sisters, you had to know your part and you had to be spot on. If you were not on key, you could not sing with them. So we spent a lot of time practicing. So that took up a lot of time. So having no extra toys or whatever, going on vacation or whatever, we were quite busy trying to keep up with them and
I think
getting
that-
on point.
Yeah, that was our thing. And I do remember, I don't know if we mentioned that our mom, your grandmother, was an actress as well.
Yes.
She performed at plays at the Albert Theater in Berlin. And so we used to put on skits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And our parents, Graham and Gramp, would be the audience.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time acting, singing, and, not so much playing instruments at that time, but that was our thing. So it was never really, we never really longed for something we didn't have, because
Right.
what we had was from the heart, and it was beautiful.
It was bonding.
Yeah.
You spent a lot of time together. And I have to tell you, coming from, a different sort of sibling setup, I cannot always relate when mom is like, my brothers and sisters, and her brothers and sisters are extremely important to her. They are her best friends. They are her support system. I feel like you all kind of feel that way about each other. And you all have this incredible bond that not a lot of families have, you guys. And I don't know if you've run into that, if you've had that epiphany in life, or if you've run into other families and you're like, wow, why aren't you guys closer? Or if you've ever really, kind of questioned that.
A lot of people have said that to me. Wow, we never have family reunions. And to us, it's like, well, that's a given. We've been meeting for over 55 years.
Yes,
How
55
many?
years this
55?
year was the 55th.
Yeah. So that it's what we do. And a lot of people don't have that. And I'm sad for the people that don't, because it's amazing. There's a lot of love there.
Who loves you more than your family? Who's going to support you more than your family? Who's going to be there for you? I think, yeah. And I mean, there are a lot of other situations, and where there is support for people, but you're specifically talking about running into people like that. I have run into families where someone, hasn't talked to their sister in 20 years or whatever, things like that, which I can't fathom that ever happening to me and any one of my siblings, because we've been so close for so long.
The one time it was 5 years that we didn't see each other because I was working on the road and I was traveling all over the place and never had time off. 7 days a week I would work. And to the 1 year, I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen Marilyn in 5 years. this is unacceptable and will never happen again. And it hasn't.
And it hasn't.
Yeah, that will never happen
And
again.
if you don't mind me interjecting too, I wanted Susan to talk about her stage experience, because she has some very interesting performances that she's done.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've been in duets forever. And the shows that I really love doing is the ones that I've done with the Barbara Streisand show, a Linda Ronstadt tribute show. I've worked with other bands, Cherry, which Marilyn introduced me to, singing, and they're big venues, and it's really exciting to be on stage in a big venue. Right now, I'm primarily focusing on my songwriting. As you know, Katie, I did release a single, Coming from the Heart. I'm about to release another single. I'm hoping by the end of this year. It's called I Gave You Love. But my experience on stage has been forever. I used to sing at the Mount Washington Hotel. I was a staple there every Saturday night for at least 3 consecutive years. So that was kind of cool. So I've had a lot of different experiences, but I'll tell you, the best concert I've ever performed at was with my entire family.
Let's look at that. Let's look at that picture really, really quick. It's kind of a little tiny. Is it a little tiny?
Yeah,
You guys see it?
I don't know why it's like that, but
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but we can see we got the 2 twins here on the end. And then it looks like all the girls are in front, except for Aunt Sue, you're in the back with the guys.
Yeah.
Yep, she's in the
Because I'm
middle right
taller.
there.
Can't
That-
really,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was really small. So I just had it up for a few minutes. But that was all 13 of you. And boy, you guys look gorgeous. I watched the concert, so I know how it was. And you can tell when you're performing together, you can tell that you have such a bond, and you can tell that you're so familiar with each other, especially when I see you all once a year. And I know that you may or may not have practiced this song since the last reunion. And you get up and you just look at each other and, oh, is this the part I'm taking? Blah, blah, blah. And you know what I mean? And then it's done. It's like perfection. It's a beautiful performance. And I'm sure part of that is your bond. You just have that kind of instinct with each other. Do you feel like that?
Absolutely.
it's definitely innate.
Yeah.
Definitely, we were born with it for sure. And I'm so grateful. Thank you, because music is awesome, right?
Yes.
And to have that come naturally. I mean, I really enjoy the fact that someone can have a sheet of music and follow it and play beautifully what they're seeing. I don't know what that's like because I don't read music, but totally grateful that I can sit in with someone and don't need that music in order to just jam with someone. And that's a riot.
Yeah.
And I
you
hope
can
to
just
jam
hear
with
it.
you someday, Katie. You
What's
get
that?
on that bass, I'll get on the drums, we'll do some jamming.
Yes, Katie is our musician as well,
Yes. I believe we're doing that on Saturday night, right? Usually
That's
I
right.
play. So
That's right.
yeah, and I
I
haven't
have
played
one.
since the last block party. So we'll see if I can Goyette it up.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
We
You
got
have
this.
my DNA, you know that.
That's right. That's right.
You have my
kid.
DNA.
You're
Katie, I
right. You
don't
got
know
my
what-
kid saying that now.
Oh, really?
Kate, I don't know how much time we have. I have an interesting story that someone had just written to me about our Goyette family reunion concert. I got a PM in my Facebook, and he said, I just want you to know I watched the video. I'm in a nursing home. He said, even in the nursing home, I was laughing, I was crying. I felt so good to see all the love there. So there's another example of the power of music. So I put it up on Facebook because I think it's important for people to know that you can really touch somebody with music,
Mm-hmm.
and it's from the heart. Yeah.
If you believe everything is based on vibration, that's a vibration, right? And it's a very, very high vibration. I love it, guys. Take me back, because there was something that you said in all of that I really want to dive into, that I think is phenomenal, that no other family that I've ever run into actually does this. But take me back to the reunion. Tell me the origins. Tell me what it's all about, as if I didn't know.
Where do we start?
I know.
It
Heck, was
started-
it 19?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
1960s.
1960s.
Okay.
And well, Uncle Victor, who's actually my godfather, he wanted the family. So people started moving out of town, and he wanted to keep the family close together. So he would start out, writing, because back then you could just write a letter and it took a week to get to somebody. And
Right.
so he just wrote letters to his siblings. So your grandfather is Uncle Victor's brother. They are 10 in their family. So the Goyettes have 10 in their original Goyette family. So they kept in touch and by snail mail, and they started meeting, like they started at a campsite. I think they would meet at a campsite and you bring your kids. And that's how it started. And then it went to Aunt May's house, who had a huge backyard out in Goshen, New Hampshire, which is where we still continue to meet, except we're in a bigger field because
We need it.
we need it. So, I mean, there were times where there's almost 300 people. I think the largest reunion was 280 some odd people. And so there's usually close to 200, just under 200 every year. I mean, it's very seldom that we have much less than that.
And it's sort of like we grew up, everybody's doing skits. There's a lot of people who sing in our extended families, and they're all doing their own songs or playing different instruments. It's like one big block party.
For the weekend.
For the weekend. Yeah. So we all kind of descend into this town, and I swear we bump their population like quite a percentage, because they're it's a very small town. It's very cute, very backwoods New Hampshire, but beautiful, just green everywhere and just very, very nice. And so, yeah, they're right. So we get there usually Thursday night, Friday morning. Probably most people roll in Friday morning. Some camp, some stay at hotels, and we're eating together. We're doing the skits. We're having comedy. It's like a show. Almost, I think I brought a friend there once or twice or 3 times or something like that, and that was a comment. I would have bought tickets for this. Because it's like those festivals that you go to, and their concerts, and they have a variety show and all sorts of things happening. But it's cool. So through the years, how has the reunion affected you guys personally? Do you have any specific stories, or do you have any specific comments to make about that? Has it gotten you through some hard times, like that kind of thing?
Well, I think it just exacerbates the whole feeling of, wow, we have a bond, not just with our immediate family, but with all of our cousins, our aunts, our uncles. And, we bond so well because we're playing games, we're playing music, we're doing the skits. It's like, it's bonding time.
We're in touch.
Yeah.
We're in touch.
The greatest thing is for the kids.
Yeah.
It's a huge field. There's no one else there. No facilities, but there's no one else there. and Katie, you would remember the sand pit.
Mm-hmm.
Sand pit, and you just go ahead, and the kids would jump down and have a great time. And my fondest memory is being able to run that field as a young child. Parents didn't have to follow you around, and you got to talk to the cousins. And it's a very cool
Katie
field.
was the manager of that sand pit one year.
Oh, yeah.
And
Of course.
She was telling the kids when they could go in and who was next, and it's your turn out now.
That's hilarious.
What were you,
Yes.
12? Something?
Sand pit monitor.
Yeah, it's what happens when you're an only child. See, Mom, if you would have had like 12 other brothers and sisters for me, then I'd be good. I wouldn't be having to control everything. It's all your fault.
That's funny.
But really and truly, again, with the epiphanies, what? Nobody else's family does this? I tell the story, and I still tell it to this day about that, because, we still attend to this day, and people will be like, where are you going? Well, here's where I'm going. And then, well, what is that? And then I start getting into it, right? And they're fascinated. They're like, how in the world do you coordinate this? So tell us, how in the world do you coordinate such a big deal?
We have officers. We have a
board.
president.
Yeah.
We have a board. We have vice president. We have, help me out here, a
Secretary.
secretary, treasurer. It takes a whole group of people. It takes a valley to really put this together.
To
A
organize.
village.
Yeah, village.
A valley, or a valley too. That was
A village
perfect,
is a
Aunt
valley.
Susan, because you are currently in the Valley of the Sun. So it That's perfect.
But we do. So we have these officers that are working all year long to make sure that it's organized and everything is set up, like, because we have a big tent, right? So in case
Yep.
it rains, and to protect us from the sun, we have the porta potties for people because there's no facilities there. So there are things, a dumpster, things like that has to be brought in. So there are people that take care of those things and organize it all. So when you're not on the committee, you get to just go and enjoy it.
And it's managed well. One of my favorite parts of the reunion is the meeting,
Yeah.
the family
Yep.
meeting.
Yep.
Everyone's there under the tent. Is it 10 o'clock sharp?
Oh.
And it's all organized. Like she said, there's a president and they got the mallet and everything. And there's a voting for certain things. Everyone can bring up ideas or make announcements.
Yeah.
Who's gone to school, who's going into school. It's really awesome.
Yeah. And like I said, great way to keep in touch because you know which cousins are going where and doing what.
It is a great bonding time. I love the meeting too. It's definitely one of my favorites. It's just nice to see everybody. And it's funny too, because we're a pretty funny bunch.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm laughing the whole entire weekend, whether it's at Uncle Don or with Uncle Don, love you, Uncle Don, or whatever, but just such a funny, laid back, friendly atmosphere. And, over the years, all of us have had significant others that have come and gone or whatever the case may be. And those people have come and they have, I know some of them have really been so impressed at what an incredible thing it is, like what an incredible bonding event. What am I trying to say? Like just situation that it is all in of itself. But it's, again, with the music thing, it's been very welcoming to others that might not necessarily be a part of the family. And they've been able to participate because we have so much going on before the music start. Well, music happens all day, right? Because we do it at our campsite or whatever it is. But before the actual evening entertainment starts, we're doing sports. We're playing, wiffle ball. Makes me think of Uncle
Pie
Red.
eating contest.
Rest in peace, Uncle Red. What's that?
Pie eating contest.
Pie eating contest. My kid did a pudding eating contest this past, and
yeah.
he was, oh my God, did he think that was the coolest thing? So it really brings in a variety of things, of activities. So you're not all kind of feeling like you're just standing there looking at each other, but it's also a great thing because it allows other people that may not have been born into the family to come in and to feel like they can share in that bond. Do you guys feel the same?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any specific stories or anyone in particular that you can think of that maybe was extra impressed?
Well, my husband, for one, sometimes my family pays more attention to him than they do because he plays guitar, so.
Oh, you have to play an instrument in order to marry into this family, just FYI.
Or sing.
Or sing.
And I enjoy your in-laws as well. When
Mhm.
Mike came up and played harmonica, I was like, I didn't even know he played.
Yes.
And it was really awesome how he could just come in and
And
enjoy himself. And didn't Matt play?
Katie's
That plays too.
Katie's son are both musicians,
Yes.
and little Jackson's enjoying the reunions as well. And he actually opened up the meeting, didn't he, with God Bless America?
Yeah,
He
that
said-
was
Did.
That was special.
That
He
is.
did. And again, with my 7-year-old, he just thinks it's normal. Like, doesn't everyone's grandma sing in a band? Like, what do you mean your grandma doesn't sing in a band? And music is very much a part of his life. And when he was just very, very small, it wasn't even anything that we pushed. I think it's just because of mom and because, we are, I don't play out anymore. I haven't for a while, but we're also very musical at home and we've got the piano and that kind of thing. And he's just always been really interested in that. And he's real good at it. And there's a sense of pride in that for him and a sense of confidence in that for him that I think is really important to the creation of his little personality,
Yeah. Yes.
Thunder.
Yes, exactly. He does that. He does it. He'll sing it. Hilarious. So I've got a couple of other pictures here that you guys sent to me, and I want to do them justice. So let's roll through them really, really quick. If we can just talk about them and kind of describe them to the audience that might be listening, what we are seeing here. So let me begin. And for some reason, they're kind of coming out in thumbnails. So they might be just a little bit weeny teeny. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see it, but can you see this one?
That's
That's a
our
song.
dad leaning on the guitar.
That's Grampy. So tell me a little bit
yeah.
about the setting of this picture. Do you know? Were any of you
Not certain.
of this planet when this picture was taken, or is this before your
No.
time?
Not the three of us, but our older siblings, perhaps. But that must be either one of his friends probably took the picture right before a gig or something, that he did.
But he was a musician. That's when
Through
I
and
came
through.
home from school, Dad's playing piano one day. He's on the drums. Oh my God, how did he learn how to do that with spoons? I mean, one instrument after another. He was just fantastic.
So
Just in his blood.
and Graham, so our mom, right? Your Graham was a singer. So that worked out well, just like my husband and I now. Bruce plays
There she
guitar and
is.
sings, and there she is. So Mom was there. She's singing with one of the big bands in town.
On the radio, actually.
Oh,
was
that
a-
was on the radio. Okay, so they asked her to sing on the radio a lot. So she probably had about 3 or 4 kids at home and she got them settled and then ran out to the radio station to do a few songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Back
looks
in the day. Go ahead.
no, she looks great for being 3 or 4 or 5 kids down by now. I mean, look at her. She looks amazing. You look a lot like her, Aunt Sue.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people tell me that when they see that picture and they say that very same thing. You
Yeah.
look exactly like her.
And she sounds like her too.
Hey, that's not a bad thing.
No,
Wonderful woman
yeah,
right there.
Compliment.
No,
a great
I love
compliment.
her voice.
Because she was a beautiful singer.
Absolutely.
She offers to do a lot of work on radio, but she
Yes.
chose to raise her children.
And this picture here,
Here we
is-
are.
This is the one we were the all female band, Rouge. Carolyn
Oh,
was
yeah.
on the drums, and we tried to wear the same. Every time I bought a stage outfit, I'd buy 2. So I'd give one to Carolyn, and she was on the drums. I was on the keyboard, and so that was one of the nights at one of the more familiar lounges up in our hometown. Called the Town and Country, and they did. We played there
Actually-
in a 6-week rotation, and we used to pack the place. It was kind of, not to brag, but it was a lot of fun. And our friends, because we had day jobs, and our friends would say, "You got to let me in." I'm like, "You got to go early. I have no pull there," because
was
there was a
fun.
cover charge and everything, but there was like standing room only.
That's so funny. So they got in touch thinking you could sneak them into the gig, huh?
Right.
You guys are so famous. I love it. All right, I got another one here for you. Let's get a little explanation on this one. More twins, or no, that's just Mom.
That's Mom.
That was at a 4th of July celebration. Actually, Katie, you were there that day.
I bet you Matt was there, to be honest with you.
Yes, and your husband, you didn't know it then, but your husband was in the audience with his parents. And that was in front of probably over 3,000 people.
Wow.
And there was a professional photographer that was hired from the town or whatever. It was a big city town thing. And so that's where those pictures came from. But gosh, I don't know when that was, in the early 90s perhaps, or
Yeah, you're definitely in your early 30s here.
yeah.
A couple
Well,
years ago.
When I had long hair and tight skin. Yeah.
Those were the days.
Uh-huh.
All right. How about this one? I know who this is.
Yeah, that was, I was at an open mic, I believe. No, I was actually playing in a duet in Nashua. And that place now is closed. It was deemed haunted.
Oh,
I never felt that, but it was a good time while I was there singing. But
well, the
that's
ghost must have liked your music. He didn't mess with you.
yeah, he didn't bother me at all. I kept singing.
That's awesome. Beautiful guitar.
Thank you.
That's a nice picture.
All right. And then here you are again. Very
That
fancy.
is in Derry, New Hampshire, at the Tupelo Music Hall, when I filled in for Cherry Cherry. And if you look in the back, Marilyn's, your mom's husband, Bruce, is actually playing guitar there.
I was gonna say with the hat.
Yep.
Okay.
So Katie, you'll like this one. So that same stage, Heart, one of your favorite bands, played on that same stage. So that's pretty exciting.
Hey, that's awesome. All right, one more to go. Oops, what am I doing here? Oh, no, the last one was just the family pick. So we are through the pics that you guys sent. Thank you so much for sending those. I think it's so nice that you could share, plus it's cool to go through those old photos, right, and kind of reminisce. But so nice that you can share that you have them to share them with others. God, I can't even talk. But so we've made the audience wait this long. And we have gone through your story and the other stories that have stemmed from it and all of your memories and things. And it's been a phenomenal talk, ladies. And I really, really appreciate your time today. But I feel like we have to show them a little bit about what you girls got. So did you bring something for me that we can, kind of close with here? Or am I putting you on the spot too much?
We can do it live. We're gonna
Yeah.
do it live.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Okay.
what's the note? You just give her a note.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, whoa, listen to the music all the time.
Woo!
That's our snippet.
That was awesome. And well, your family is known for your harmonies. Several part harmonies, because there's lots of you. Can you do a 13-part harmony, I wonder?
If we double up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Is there enough? Right? I don't think there's enough
Well, we
notes
did-
for you all.
We did do that actually at that family reunion concert. We doubled up in some harmonies. It
I
was
think we
beautiful.
tripled up.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Tripled up.
Somebody tripled up. The rest of you maybe doubled up. Oh no, I see what you're saying, Art Care.
It was fun.
Guys, this has been awesome. And I love you guys so much. And it's so nice to see you all together. And it's so wonderful, even though I've heard some of these stories before, it's so wonderful to reminisce again and to, think about those things and think about those bonds and think about how music really has carried us through the tough times, the happy times, and has really kept the family together. I mean, I think it's a phenomenal thing. It's something that's just very rare and so unique that you have. I mean, what an incredible gift. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you really felt it was important to say today?
We touched upon a lot.
Yeah.
The best thing for me is what you said in the very beginning, that music is a very powerful thing and it can change your day. It can change the way you feel. It's very powerful.
Mhm.
And it reminds me of Uncle Henry too.
Yes.
When at the end of his life, at the end of their lives, it just gives
I have
them
a
that.
story about that.
Go ahead.
You remember Uncle Henry?
Yep.
He was in a nursing home and he was terminal at that point. And I went in and sang.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
One of Mom's songs that our mom used to sing because they're brother and sister. So Uncle Henry's mom is our mother. Sister is our mother. And Mom and Uncle used to sing, and because they were a musical family as well. So on Mom's side and Dad's side, they were musical. And so Susan went in and sang to him, and he perked up.
Well, I sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah,
He was going.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he passed after, the next day actually. But she made his moving on to the other side or
yeah.
transfer.
That
transition.
transition was
Thank you.
More comfortable.
Yeah.
I could see, sorry for the, breaking up a bit, but it's very touching. When he was lying there, he was just like looking out into space and like he kind of was confused. And so I held his hand and I looked in his eyes and I finally connected his eyes with mine. And I was singing him that song. And I said, remember Jeanette, who is our mom, your grandmother and his sister. And his total being, his total body just relaxed. I said, it's okay to go.
And he went.
And he went.
And he saw her the next day.
He did. And he was reunited. And I mean, just in this conversation, we have remembered so many that have passed
Yeah.
from our family. Just in this conversation. Without music, would we be talking about them? Without music, I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I feel like the musical connection just really helps with that, you know, keeping their spirit alive and keeping their memory alive. And I mean, what a huge bond, you know?
Yeah. From the heart, Katie.
It is. It is. Speaking of, oh, go ahead, Aunt Care.
I was just going to say the best thing ever is we don't have time today, right? But we have recordings of the people we were talking about from long ago. My mom at Susan's age.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful things
Memories.
to have. Yeah.
Nice memories.
Oh, I love it, guys. Big, big, big hearts, big hugs. It's
Thank
amazing
you.
to see you all together. Aunt Susan. Oh, and you're welcome, Mother. Aunt Susan, how can we connect with you if we want to hook up with especially your new single that you haven't released yet, but the From the Heart single, and then all the stuff that you've got out there?
You can reach me at Susan Sings on Facebook or under my name, Susan Goyette. I do have a link on both to get to my music. And yeah, it's Susan Sings at facebook.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, ladies. Really, really appreciate your time. Mwah. Much love to you. And all of you out there. Thank you. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, please follow us at MOMnation USA. That is our handle. And we are on Facebook. I heard we're on TikTok. My beautiful co-founder and co-host actually is taking care of that. So I don't know. That's her gig. But we are on Instagram and YouTube. So again, the handle is at MOMnation USA. You can find us there. Send us a message if you'd like to be on the show. We would love to talk with you. And please, while you're at it, please subscribe and download this episode. Subscribe to our podcast and rate us on your favorite podcast platform, because that just really helps us get the information out organically to the masses. We really want these stories, these touching, inspirational stories that are from the heart, to get out there to the moms' hearts that they are meant for. So thank you so much for all of your support, ladies. It was amazing.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.